Hello, I'm Kaiser and welcome to Moose Reads. Before I get started, I want to say that the opinions that I give here are my own opinions. They are extremely subjective. If I dislike a book, it is not a reflection on the author, and it is not a reflection on people who do like it. Different people have different tastes, and that's okay. Today, I will be reviewing Anne of the Island by L.M. Montgomery. This is the third book in the Anne of Green Gables series. It is a historical slice-of-life novel. The description says, Anne Shirley has come a long way since her days as a mischievous orphan living in the house at Green Gables. She is now 18 and headed to faraway Redmond College in Kingsport. Anne's college years are sure to be full of fun, but they will also be a time for soul-searching and big decisions. When her longtime friend Gilbert Blythe proposes, Anne feels they can never be more than friends. But is her new admirer, the handsome and wealthy Roy Gardner, really the man of her dreams? 3 stars. Again, this book is cozy and charming, and I liked it just fine. It's entirely in line with the series up to this point, and if you read and liked those, you'll probably like this one. This book is largely focused on romantic entanglements. Everyone seems to be getting married, engaged, or making best efforts to get engaged. If that's not something you're fond of, you probably didn't make it this far, but if you did, you might not enjoy this one all that much. That's really all I can say that isn't spoilers. If you don't like spoilers, now is the time to pause or close the video. For everyone else, let's talk details. Confession. While I'm reading these as part of my attempts to read all of the physical books I own, I do also own a digital copy of the Anne of Green Gables collection. Unfortunately, that puts all the books, and I use the term all loosely here, into a single massive volume. I don't like reading series this way, but I do prefer digital to physical books for reading. So before I started reading any of these books, I took the time to break my digital collection into individual files. The reason this is relevant is that it forced me to get acquainted with all of the chapter titles before I began reading. In this book, I was particularly baffled by the chapter titled Anne's First Proposal. It seemed to me that if there was a chapter about her first proposal, there ought to be another titled after her second, and perhaps another still after her third. And there isn't. Having read it, I now understand why. Part of it, I think, is that Anna had all these hopes about her first proposal that are soundly crushed, and thus the first proposal is particularly notable. But mostly, I think it's because Anne receives in total 6 proposals before this book is done. Her first proposal is from the brother of one of her closest friends, and honestly, I wouldn't have accepted it either, even if I liked the guy. He's entirely too shy to ask her directly, so he gets his sister to do it for him. I can't imagine anyone being happy to receive a proposal by proxy, but for Anne, not only is this not romantic, the fellow is so inconsequential that his proposal is only the second time he's been mentioned in this series. Her second proposal is by Charlie Sloane, who has been thoroughly established as a hopeless rival for her affections. It goes to show that people as a whole never really change, because she's shown no interest in him at all, but when he proposes he expects her to accept, and apparently gets very angry when she doesn't. It's very much a nice guy plotline in a book written 100 years ago. Anne is also frustratingly stupid in this book. Gilbert has basically been in love with her since they met, and she's pretty clearly in love with him too, but she seems entirely incapable of realizing it. Any time he starts to flirt openly, she pushes him away and gets upset. At the same time, anytime anyone else expresses any interest in him, she gets angry. This is largely one of the imagination gone wrong plots that frequent these books. Anne has the image of her perfect romantic gentleman, and Gilbert doesn't match, so he can't be the one for her. It isn't until she hears he's dying of scarlet fever that she realizes she's in love with him. This, incidentally, is my biggest complaint about Anne of the Island. Anne finds out Gilbert has scarlet fever and may well die. She spends the night feeling wretched, having realized that she loves him too late for it to matter, and the next morning she asks after him and is told he's gotten past the worst of it and will recover. It just felt too rushed to me, which lessened the impact of her fear and realization. My only other complaint is the same I had with Anne of Avonlea. Davy is still a heathen in need of God. I think this book is the book where it really started to grate on me, which I think is due to Mrs. Lynde living with Marilla and the twins, and therefore putting her hand toward giving religious lectures as well. On the bright side, it seems like Davy is starting to get there, and hopefully the next book, which takes place out of Avonlea entirely, will have less of it to bother me. I won't know for a while yet, incidentally. If you've been watching these reviews and are eager for the next, you'll have to wait. I'm supposed to read Anne of Windy Poplars in August, and I have to save one of them till December. Though, depending on how things shake out, I might let that be the last book, Rilla of Ingleside. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Anne of the Island. If you like this video, I hope you'll watch more in the future. Thanks for watching this one. Bye!